The iPhone 16e is bad value. There, I said it. Let's go. Apple has welcomed a new iPhone into the iPhone 16 family. It's bad and nobody should buy it, even though they will anyway. The price to features ratio is horrendous. All the rubbish that Samsung has copped for the cost cutting on the S25 series, to see Apple put this out, and it's going to pretty much go unscathed in the wider sort of top-end tech community, is kind of annoying. Now, for the money, you could literally throw a dart out the window and hit any Android manufacturer and find a phone with better value than what this is offering. But I am here to focus on Samsung's offering and the value you can get with a couple of Samsung phones that will offer you more for the money that you should spend. There is mainly one that I'll focus on, and then I'll talk about the S25 a little bit at the end, because whilst it's more expensive, if you match it for storage, this is definitely better. Starting with the FE, I guess right off the bat, it's a bigger phone. So it's 6.7 inches versus the 6.1 on the iPhone SE. So bigger might not necessarily be better for you. However, you are getting a bigger display. For the money that you're spending, could be worth going to that bigger screen. If you want something a bit smaller, then wait to the S25 portion of the video. Speaking on design, the FE design is minimalist. So is the iPhone 16e, like very, very minimalist, to the point where it has nothing on the back bar one camera. We'll get to that. But the S24 FE has no hideous notch on the display, which we'll talk about as well. It might have bezels, same sort of thickness of bezels as what the iPhone 16e has got, but you don't have that big obtrusion in the way. It's got an Infinity O camera in the middle that's very, very unobtrusive. And for the price you're paying, you can put up with a slightly thicker border around your screen. The display, though, that is where you get the win with the S24 FE. The iPhone 16e display, apart from being OLED, isn't worth the money that you're paying. The S24 FE features a dynamic AMOLED 2X adaptive 120Hz refresh rate, which gives you fluid interactions when you use it. And with One UI 7 looming, that should even extend the animations and the fluidity even more. How Apple continues to get away with 60Hz panels, I know how they get away with it. People don't care. At least the Apple buying public, they don't know any different, and they won't know any different until Apple tells them that they should care about it. With design, you could go either way, but with display, there's absolutely no two ways about it. The S24 FE is the better display for the money that you're spending. Next is cameras. The iPhone 16e features one singular 48 megapixel, 1 in 2.55 inch roughly sized sensor, and that's it. That's all you get. Apple are marketing it as a 1 times and a 2 times sensor thanks to the 48 megapixel resolution. Fair enough, but that's it. That's literally all you get. There's no other camera available apart from the selfie. And I understand a little bit this strategy, because people in this price range buying an iPhone, camera isn't their top priority. They aren't looking for flexible, intense camera systems. They just want one camera and they just want to take photos when they need to. And I get it. Even at that price point, there is more that you can get. That means that even if you don't care about cameras, you still have more. The S24 FE has 3 cameras on the back. You have the main 50 megapixel camera, which is a 1 in 1.56 inch sensor, which is the same sensor that you find on the base S24, S24 Plus, and the S25 and S25 Plus. So the hardware is the same as flagship level. Can't say the same about the 16e. Now, are the other 2 cameras that flank it strong? No, but they're there. You have a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera and an 8 megapixel 3 times telephoto camera. And whilst that they aren't the strongest hardware, their output's fine, especially for the price you're paying. You're getting decent output, and the processing from the Exynos 2400E is good enough to make the photos look good. And that's really all you need for this price point, because it's banking on flexibility. You've got the option to go ultra wide, to go 1x or 3x, and then you let the processing sort of take care of the rest with the hardware that's not quite as good. The only department where the 16e, I guess, wins out is probably in performance, but not overall performance, just one element, the A18 chip. Now, Apple have kind of hampered it a little bit, but the S24 FE's chip was also hampered. It's a 2400E versus the normal 2400 from the S24 and S24 Plus. So it's kind of like an even playing field in terms of it's being restricted. This point of the market, performance doesn't necessarily equate to priority. And both phones with their chipset will appease the customer base perfectly. But then on top of that, you've got the incredibly small battery in the iPhone 16e versus the large battery in the 24 FE with faster charging, faster power sharing, power sharing at all, faster wireless charging. All of that mixes together and you get a better performing package for your money that you're spending. And then the software. One UI, for me, it's personal choice, but you get more from One UI. You get things like Samsung Dex. You get things like Galaxy AI, which is due to get better with One UI 7. But the fact that Samsung have AI at all versus Apple advocating that the iPhone 16e is Apple Intelligence ready, because Apple Intelligence isn't ready. Their phones are ready, but the feature isn't. Whereas the Galaxy AI set of features is extensive. On the S24 FE already, running One UI 6, and probably what's likely to come with One UI 7, there's a whole extensive list of Galaxy AI features that you have access to now versus the promise of them later. All of that value for the FE, and it's the same price as the iPhone SE. It just doesn't make sense to me why you would choose the SE versus that phone. Unless, of course, you're an Apple ecosystem advocate and you've got the Apple Watch and AirPods. I get all of that. But if you're on the fence, there's really no point discussing it. Get an FE. That is unless you're keen on flagships. Because when you look at the storage ladder for the SE, it's pretty gross. A 512 gig iPhone 16e is more expensive than the base model 256 S25. And for that price, this is a hell of a lot of phone versus the SE. SE, it should have been called that, the 16e. This is a far more premium design. You've got really nice sort of accentuated minimalist cameras on the back. Not everyone's taste, of course, with the black camera rings, but I like it. You have a nice thin body. You have way thinner bezels on the display, really high-end premium materials. It is the flagship. It's, apart from the Ultra, Samsung's best phone offering that they can give you. And then there's the display, which it's not even fair to compare really, because this display is top tier. 2,600 nits of peak brightness, adaptive 120 Hz refresh rate, which paired with One UI 7 gives incredible fluidity to interact with. It's just unfair how much better it is. And then with the cameras, it's kind of like the same scenario as the FE, but on steroids. Because hardware-wise, you get a very similar flexibility offering. Ultra-wide 50 megapixel main camera and a 3x telephoto. But they're better hardware backed by better processing. Because with the 8 Elite for Galaxy on board, the ISP and all of the image processing is far better and you get far better results out of it. And even now, if this hardware is a few generations old, they exist. And they exist, whereas the 16e, they don't exist. So it's just a better offering. Not only do you get the processing from the 8 Elite for Galaxy, but you get all of Samsung's camera modes to go along with it. Dual recording from the camera, single take. There's just a whole bunch of camera modes on here that take advantage of the hardware. Whereas I just doubt natively the iPhone 16e will be able to do that. And then there is that processor, the 8 Elite for Galaxy in its full form. It's not being hampered or dampened here. It is the fully fledged processor. Whereas the 16e, as we mentioned, has been restricted. Apple have said they've done this for efficiency. And I imagine for the consumer of the 16e, they'll probably appreciate that. It'll be enough power for what they do. But you're not hampered here. Plus you get a bigger battery. Plus you get faster charging, all the wireless power share and all the other stuff as well. This will be a better performing phone that'll last you longer. You might have to spend a little bit more, but depending on the storage variant you're after, this is better. The 16e is bad value. There's just no denying that. Obviously, the right person will find value in it, and that's up to them. That's fine. But there's a subset of people who are just blindly buying it because they don't know any better. And if you've stumbled upon this video, if you were in that bracket, then you can research a little bit more, because it's not just Samsung that's offering you more value in this price bracket. Pretty much every other Android for the money will give you a better experience, allow you to do more, give you more flexibility, and will do more with your money that you are spending. Because as an industry, the iPhone 16e is just bad value. straight up. Hit subscribe. It is only February and there's still a lot of the year to go, so plenty of content still to come. And I'll see you guys in the next one. You!